Mzansi, we are living in such a frantic and crazy world where our attention is constantly being pulled in 1,000 different directions. Now, mindfulness is a great technique that can help you navigate this hectic world and just to become the best version of yourself. So counselor Tammy Cruz is here to help us unpack mindfulness and all of its benefits. I will also be doing seated yoga, Mzansi, so definitely stay tuned for that. And then we also have the digital Cowboys, or rather the Congo Cowboys in the house. So Mzansi, let's saddle up as we start the show. Over to you, Z.
Today is going to be so exciting. I'm really excited about that lineup, but also today's topic is particularly incredibly personally wonderful for me, and that is mindfulness. In a fast-paced, often chaotic world, the practice of mindfulness has emerged as a powerful tool for enhancing mental well-being and navigating life's challenges with resilience. Joining us today to help us understand what mindfulness is registered counsellor Tammy Cruz. Welcome to Afternoon Express.
Thank you for having me.
So, would I be correct in saying that this time of the year, the beginning of the year, people tend to be incredibly overwhelmed, and so mindfulness would be particularly important at the moment?
It would be so helpful of just slowing down and getting the year started right.
I cannot agree more. So I have to ask you, in your practice, how do you break down and unpack what mindfulness is to a client that perhaps doesn't understand the concept?
Yeah, so mindfulness is really the ability to be present in the moment, right?
Okay.
So I know that sounds really simple, but it's, let's take, for example, you are meeting a friend and you're going for coffee, and at the restaurant there are so many things going on. There's people talking, there's everything going on, and it's so easily possible to be distracted.
Yeah.
And the ability to be mindful in that moment is to be present with your friend, to be in the moment with them and not be consumed by everything else that's sort of going on around you.
To understand that basically this is the only moment that exists.
The only moment. This breath is the only moment.
I love that. I love that you brought in breath. So how would someone that doesn't know any of this and has tons of blind spots to what mindfulness is and is complete gibberish to them, how would you start with them? What would you say is the first practice to do?
I think the first practice to do is the most important one, which is breath work.
Okay.
Learning to breathe. I know it sounds simple, but we are just constantly going through our day, breathing just normal, and it doesn't get to the ability to sort of calm us down and regulate us. And so the first thing to do, I would say, is learn to do box breathing.
Yes, I like that. So that's the 4 in, pause for 4, 4 out, pause for 4. Love that. Okay, so Tammy, I have to ask you, in a world where someone is experiencing chaos, how would you tell them to implement mindfulness into their day?
I think starting small, right? I think when people think of mindfulness, they think, oh, I need to do an hour of meditation every day. And that's just really not always possible for everybody. And I think starting small and looking for what works for you. You might not like box breathing, so maybe trying progressive muscle relaxation or visualizing.
What is that?
So basically you tense up your entire body bit by bit and eventually release it. It is so incredible.
Okay.
So go out and go onto YouTube or pop over to any part of the internet, and you will find so many different techniques and see which one works for you. That is how you're going to get it into your life, by not making it a chore. Okay,
I love that. I notice on social media at the moment, and I know it depends on the algorithm, but almost every second ad you see has got something to do with embodiment or somatic healing. Yes. And that is exactly what you're talking about, becoming aware of your body, what you're feeling in your body, and then releasing that and being mindful with that and to that. When you have clients that are navigating chaos, where do you start with them?
I think I start with them by teaching them how to come back towards themselves. We are just everywhere. We are in every different space in our lives, and coming back towards ourselves and teaching them to come back towards ourselves and check in, right? So literally throughout my day, I go, how are you doing, Tam? Are you okay? What's going on? What do you need right now? And learning to just do that skill of coming back towards yourself is the starting point.
I love that, Tammy, coming back towards yourself. So I also want to ask you, when was your first introduction to mindfulness? When did mindfulness drop for you? Because in academia, we're not always taught this, right?
Yeah.
Mindfulness is not something that's part of psychology. How did that come out for you?
So a friend of mine had mentioned a 10-day silent retreat. And I was like, I'm sure I can do this. And I went, I was completely blown over, and it taught me the ability to come back towards myself and sit with myself and to check in and to actually know what's going on for me and what's going on for me inside my body. And that's where it started for me, and it's just...
It's changed your life.
It really has.
I love those silent retreats that, and I know that quite a few people are afraid for the silence, because sometimes the chatter in your head is so loud and it becomes home, but to get still and to get silent is actually where you do come home to yourself.
It's in the stillness.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tammy. When we come back later on, Tammy is going to share her 5 tips on how to unpack, but most importantly, implement mindfulness into your life. Stay tuned.
Absolutely, ladies. What an interesting conversation.
So important, Pali, and I can't wait to keep this conversation going.
I love it for us. Now, what a start to an incredible week here on Afternoon Express. But on social media, we want to know from you. How do you practice mindfulness? Please do post your comments and use the hashtag Afternoon Express in all of your comments. Now, Jay, how do you safely and peacefully practice mindfulness?
Well, firstly, Pali, I like to pause, and then I like to sing a beautiful song.
Oh.
And that for me just works.
Sing a song. I'm putting you on the spot right now.
Ooh, no, you know what? I think I'm going to let our guests do the singing today, so let's leave that to them.
That is a deal. Now, Mzansi, we are literally giving you the opportunity to continue the conversation online. Remember to use that hashtag Afternoon Express in all of your comments. How do you practice mindfulness? But stay tuned, because after the break, we chat to the Congo Cowboys. Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, the Congo Cowboys have electrified stages with their gritty exploration of Americana and old-time ditties. And they are here, of course, to bring us their very unique sound. We're now going to get to know the band and how mindfulness has helped them with their artistry. From Americano music to those old-school soul folk tales, you are now here on the Afternoon Express stage. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
For having
Good to
us.
be here.
Thank you.
Now, the Congo Cowboys. Very interesting name. How did it come about?
Started with a banjo. I brought a banjo back from America and decided to try and marry Americana with African music. And Chris is from?
Congo. So
The
that's where
Congo.
come from.
The Congo Cowboys, a little bit of old school, but connected to that very African soul, that rhythm and that feel. Speaking of which, each of you four individual gents come from different sound backgrounds, musical backgrounds. How has that been able to influence the music and what you put into it?
I grew up listening to old school and listening to my grandparents' music, which is more tribe Mongo. So it's like a kind of like the way of singing. So I grew up listening to that, and I always try to add those elements on my singing to always bring like my roots into the Americana to make that kind of a fusion. Yes.
And for the rest of you gents?
Well, I come from a little town called Maputo in Mozambique. So growing up in my neighborhood, we formed a band. And so my first, yeah, I'm getting there.
we're getting to the bump and the yes.
My journey started with this band called Panzer, which is named, it was a tank during the Second World War.
Any guesses what kind of music it was?
Yeah, so I'm getting there. That's why the tank comes about, because that's what we came out as a name for the band, Panzer,
Okay.
which is a German tank that was used during the Second World War. So we're playing heavy metal. So that's my experience, like
Okay,
starting that journey, and then from there to exploring different types of music as well. And then I ended up coming to Cape Town to start jazz.
so it's evolved over time,
So it's
gentlemen.
all these. It's a fruit salad, yeah.
I love it. A melting
Exactly.
pot is what I like to call it, a melting pot. Now, gentlemen, now that you've been able to pour all of your expertise, your influence and your background into the music, you then found yourself on Reese Witherspoon's show, My Kind of Country. How was that experience like?
It was great. It was great, actually, to have that experience and work in that certain level of production, which was non-stop, rolling every day, and which it was good also. It gave everybody, I think, it gave most of us that comfort also of other sector besides playing, because music is not just the playing. There is the playing, there is production, so it was a good experience, I would say.
Yeah, it gave us a taste of American TV and played with top musicians, top production, and yeah, I learnt a lot. I think it was good for us.
Yeah.
It kind of taught us a lot about presentation on stage, about performance, about preparing for performance, those kind of things.
Yeah. Now, I can only imagine being able to be propelled on an international stage the way that you were. It needs to come with some sort of preparation. Now, we are focusing on mindfulness today. What rituals do you do? What kind of mindful practices do you do before stepping on stage or into the studio?
We're more glassful than mindful before we go on stage, but we have a huddle always.
Yes, hello.
And Chris leads us through a singing, so we bond before.
Voice warm-up to prepare the voice, to prepare the chord vocals.
Yeah, we spend at least like 3 or 4 minutes in a huddle, and we focus in on the energy, and because we're going to be on stage sharing that space, and we need to be a sort of a unified force when we get out there. So we huddle and we connect, and we have this sort of moment where we often hum, huh?
Yeah, hum.
We do a lot of humming, yeah. So it's like a visceral connection, you know? And then I think that's quite mindful.
And a lot of times people overlook that, the preparation it takes before one even steps onto the stage, being able to kind of get into a trance-like state, a meditative state, to be able to pour your heart and soul into the music. Now, gentlemen, how would you be able to describe, I just need like 3 words, top words, how would you describe your sound?
African cowboy.
African cowboy, just like that. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for sitting down with me and having this conversation. But we have two incredible performances lined up by the Congo Cowboys, so definitely stay tuned for that. But for now, we're about to head over to the kitchen to see what conversations are about to continue.
Double cream plain yogurt from Clover. Just plain amazing.
So mindfulness can be incorporated into all facets of our lives, but one of the most beneficial is to practice mindful eating. Mindful eating is about paying attention to your body and your food and being beautifully present in the moment so that you can savor every bite rather than eating on autopilot.
Wow, that's so profound. I love that. I love how you speak about the connection between food and your body, because I think that being self-aware and present, as you spoke about in the first, the top of the show with Tammy, I think that's so important to take that through your entire day.
For sure. And Tammy, please come on in so we can ask you some questions around mindful eating. So, I'd love to ask you, is it true that when we are stressed out, and Jay, you can answer this as well, one of the first things that fly is what we eat? Because a lot of us are emotional eaters.
100%. I think it's the first thing that goes. We're just rushing through our day, trying to get through all the things that we need to do, and we're not just coming back down from that.
Yeah. Do you eat mindfully? Honestly?
Honestly, I don't want to say that I do it every day because that would be a lie. I try as much as I can, but some days I'm just right up here and I just cannot get back down. But other days I'm able to do it.
Okay, you know what's so cool is that you are mindful about not being mindful. And when you have that, you are 3/4 way there, aren't you?
100%.
Do you eat mindfully, Jay?
No, Z, again with me as well. I'd like to say that I try to, but you know, in a busy schedule, my automatic approach is convenience, and if it's not convenience, it's comfort.
Yes.
And you know, with those two options, you do sort of, you know, tread quite tightly on a tightrope because it often leads to you consuming things that aren't very healthy for you.
So I love that you use the word convenience. So part of convenience is about purchasing products that you are going to conveniently reach out to when you are feeling stressed out. So for example, I love, for example, that Clover has these very cute 6-pack double cream plain yogurts. You can, you know, when you're feeling like you want to reach for something unhealthy, you can snap off one of those and you're eating something that is thick, delicious, filling, creamy, and high in protein. Do you do that, like when you are going through a really stressful period, or do you encourage your clients to do that, that you make sure that your fridge and your pantry is stocked with products that are going to benefit your mind at that time?
100%. I like to suggest the idea of reset Sundays. You know, and on Sundays you go out and intentionally buy the things that you think will be really helpful for your week and have them available and do a bit of meal prep. Get yourself a little bit prepared, at least for Monday and Tuesday, while that rush is still happening.
Yeah. So I have to share my first experience of mindfulness and mindful eating. I read the book by Eckhart Tolle called The Power of Now. Have you read The Power of Now? And in it, he speaks about the concept of mindfulness. And I remember eating a banana like after I'd read that book. And guys, I can safely say, I had never tasted what a banana tastes like before I found myself mindfully eating that banana. All of a sudden, I became aware of the vanilla flavor, the smoothness, the firmness, the ridges going down the banana. It was an incredibly beautiful experience, and I've enjoyed being mindful with my food. So one of the ways I am mindful is you spoke about taking a breath and a pause earlier on with Pali, is that you take a pause, don't you, before you eat? You agree, Tammy? I see you shaking your head.
100%. It's 3 opportunities throughout the day to pause. It's not just to rush through, it's to pause and come back down.
How do we do that, though, when we are chaotic?
I think we've got to start small. I think we've got to notice when we are, micro moments. We have to notice when it's happening. And we have to maybe have this discussion with the people around us and say, when you notice that I am sort of right up here and I'm not seeming to function the way I need to, please make a note of it and remind me and show me and give me that moment.
Okay, so I've got a little experiment for you. We are now going to eat this delicious yogurt concoction. Did you make this, Jay? It looks absolutely divine.
I mean, you know, with Clover, it was very easy.
Absolutely. And we are going to taste this mindfully. I'm going to ask you each, what was it like to eat this, and what is your mindful experience like? There's definitely a slowing down when you're eating mindfully. I can feel those little bursts in the berries. Your saliva glands are gushing.
It's gushing.
Tammy's taking more time.
Yeah,
She's savoring every moment.
Yeah.
She wants more.
Go again.
Jay
I
wants
think
more.
I want more.
The creaminess of the yogurt is so delicious. It almost feels like comfort food, like mother's milk.
Have you ever
It's so
seen
yum.
a strawberry under a microscope? You see those little tiny hairs on the strawberry, and I almost feel like I can feel that in my mouth right now. And it's actually crazy. I just feel so happy.
That is amazing. Well, there you go. Mindful eating isn't just about enjoying your food. It's also about taking control of your relationship with food, the way Jay just did right now. So if you're looking to add more wholesome meals to your 2024 menu, then stay with us, because in just a little while, Jay will be showing us how to make a delicious quinoa salad with a creamy coriander and lime dressing. My saliva glands are gushing. We'll see you in a bit.
Double cream plain yogurt from Clover. Just plain amazing.
Express yourself.
Afternoon Express. Now, I call them the African Cowboys, but to you, they are the Congo Cowboys, reminding us to be mindful and to be free within yourself. Up next, they're about to perform Ndofé. Take it away, gentlemen.
right now, it is back to mindfulness. Today, we're on a journey to help you improve your self-awareness. And joining us again is registered counselor Tammy Cruz with 5 tips on how to practice mindfulness at home. So I hope you've got your pen and paper ready or taking notes on your phone. Tammy, 5 tips.
Perfect.
Let's start.
Let's go. So I think let's go with the first one. Micro-mindful moments, right?
Mindful moments. Okay.
So I understand that we can't just give 2 hours a day to go sit in a quiet room and just be with ourselves. I understand that that's not really possible for everybody, but breaking it down into little tiny parts of your day. So 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there. It's just little tiny moments throughout your day that makes such a difference at the end of the day.
Okay, can I add to that?
Yes.
So one of the ways that I was able to implement that in my life is with something called temptation bundling. So you bundle something that you do all the time. So for me, I enjoy a cup of coffee. So you then bundle the coffee with getting mindful. So you're attaching it to something that you do out of habit. So when you do the habit, your mindfulness becomes automatic. Isn't that cool?
I love that. That's
Yes.
a really great idea. I think let's go with the second one. So I would say the second one is using technology. There are so many apps available. A lot of them are free. The one that I use every single night is called Oak, like an oak tree.
Okay.
And it's free, and it has guided meditations, it has sleep podcasts, it has breathing exercises, and it's a really wonderful opportunity. Even YouTube, there are so many videos online that we can really have access to, and they're free, right? There's all this stuff available, and we need to use it. So
I love that you say that and you mentioned that, because we often blame technology as a distraction, which it is. But the really cool thing about technology is that it's also giving us access to these apps. And like you say, so many of them are free. So use the apps to help you to get mindful.
100%. Even setting alarms can be
Yes.
really helpful of going, oh, I mustn't forget in my lunch break to do it. The next one I would say is doing something that fits into your normal day, right? So whether it's on your way to fetch the kids or in between meetings, right? It's just little bits that fit in, because trying to fit it into a big gap of like an hour, fitting into that in your day is not really possible. And so fitting into your normal schedule every day and looking for where you could find those gaps is how we do it.
Give me an example.
So let's say, for example, in between clients, I go pretty much client to client, and if I don't do a 2-minute come down from that, the impact that that has on the next session is I am not as emotionally available for my next client, right? And so those 2 minutes, I know to include that in my day. It's possible to get those 2 minutes.
Yes, I like that. So you come down from one interaction and you almost recalibrate to start another interaction.
Exactly.
That's powerful.
The next one I would say, the idea of mindfulness maybe isn't, you think it isn't for you, right? And so finding something that is for you is how we're going to make it feel like it's not a chore. It is part of your life. It's a coping skill that you use every day to make yourself feel better, right? And so doing things that maybe breath work isn't for you, maybe guided meditation is, or progressive muscle relaxation is. So looking for the thing that is authentic to you is how we are going to make sure that it sticks.
Yes, and it could be something as simple as going for a walk.
Exactly. Mindful walks are such a wonderful example. If that's something that you incorporate in your day and feels authentic to you, absolutely go for a mindful walk.
Okay.
And then the last one is mindful transitions. And
Mindful transitions, okay.
Yeah, it's an absolute favorite of mine. It is that we do, or we have a moment of mindfulness in between the parts of our day. So towards the next meeting or on our way to fetch the kids, right? So it's in those gaps that we can really fit it in. So it's the transition between getting up now and going off to lunch. Just before you go to lunch, let's just come back down towards yourself and get you from here, building yourself all the way up for the day and bringing you back down here. So it's in those transitional moments. So it doesn't have to be a set time, 2 o'clock I do it, right? It's just part of the transitions in your day.
Thank you so much, Tammy. So if you could leave viewers with one thing to start, maybe the 5 is too overwhelming, but they start with just one, what would your one be?
My one would be right now, in this moment, take a moment and come back towards yourself and go, how am I right now? What do I need? What do I need for this moment? How do I feel a bit calmer? Where am I at? Do I have 30% left for the day, or do I have 5% left for the day? And then start there.
That is so powerful. Thank you so much, Tammy. That was insightful. Thank you for sharing your tips, and I encourage you to ask yourself that question, how am I right now? I hope that these tips help you to stay present and mindful and bring you more moments of serenity and self-discovery. After the break, Pali is going to do some chair yoga, so get ready to do it with her.
Express yourself. Express yourself.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, do you know what chair yoga is? Well, it has been trending on social media, and today we are all going to learn just how to do it. This can be done by anyone. So if you're sitting in a chair, you can do it. Why not try it right now with yoga teacher Kirsty Buchlots? Now, friend, we've done yoga outdoors, but now it's time not only for us to do yoga inside, but in a chair. So how does this form of yoga differ from other types of yoga?
So Pali, it's very similar. The only difference is slight modification that you are sitting on a chair. So it's great for people that have limited mobility or have trouble standing, or if you're in the middle of a work day and you just want a nice stretch from your seat.
Now, girl, you are not only the social media whiz of Afternoon Express, but you're all things wellness, holistic energy, and yoga. But now it's time to turn over to the musician. Julio, you seem to be a pro behind any kind of musical instrument. But have you ever tried yoga?
Not really. This is gonna be my first time.
Are you excited, nervous?
I think excited, yeah, excited.
Very excited.
so-
Now, Kirst, where do we start?
So we can start by taking a seat. So we'll start by that. So the first one we're going to do is a seated forward fold. So have your feet sort of hip width apart and have a nice tall spine. Inhale, and with an exhale, you can lean forward. Let your hands reach towards the floor and let your head hang heavy. And just feel into this nice back stretch. Awesome. And then a slow roll back to seated position. And this is something that viewers can do at home. So if you are sitting on a couch, sitting on a chair, join in. The second one is a lean over to the side. So once again, nice tall spine, and then stretch over towards the left. Put your hand on the back of the chair and look over your left shoulder.
Oh, yeah. I feel that stretching already my spine immediately.
And then over to the other side, so come back to center and swap sides. Beautiful. And feel that length in your spine. Breathe into it. Keep your knees facing forward, so don't let your hip splay over.
Sure.
Awesome.
Now, Kirsty, for those viewers who might be wondering, normal basic yoga, chair yoga, what are some of the benefits of chair yoga?
So the benefits are the same as normal yoga. So it helps with things like anxiety and depression. It helps improve your breathing, helps with some muscle definition. It even helps with your sleep patterns. So if you're struggling with sleep, it's a good idea to try with some yoga.
I love that. I do struggle with insomnia. So what is a third kind of practice or exercise that we might do?
Cool. So the third one is for your hips. So we're going to place one leg on top of the other one. There we go. Awesome.
Even in your jeans.
Even in your jeans. And from here, we can bend slightly forward. Don't overdo it. You can just feel a bit of a stretch in your leg. This is seated figure 4 or pigeon pose.
Sure.
Awesome. And then balance out to the other side so we don't have wonky bodies. And lean forward.
And how important is flexibility in yoga?
I mean, it is important, but you also get better with time. So don't be intimidated if you know, oh, I'm not a flexible person, I can't do yoga. Everyone can do yoga.
Okay.
Everyone can get better.
Love that. And what would our fourth and final position be?
So the final position is seated shavasana, which is corpse pose in Sanskrit. Normally you'll be lying down on the floor, but here we can just take a nice comfy position. You can sit back a bit in your seat, sit up tall, put your hand somewhere on your body, either on your thighs, or you can even connect one hand to your stomach, one hand to your chest, and feel into that breath. Can take nice deep belly breaths and feel that coming into yourself.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, guys. Well
How did you find it, Julio?
Yeah, very good. I enjoy jogging, so I think this is gonna be a nice start as well to warming up. Yeah, so.
An extension of what he's already doing. Now, for those people who might, I mean, my fiance, Veli, is such a yogi. If there is one yogi in the family, it's definitely my fiance.
That's awesome.
So much so that he even enrolled our 3-year-old into yoga classes.
Wow.
So how important is that? How early is too early to start?
I mean, that's really awesome. Starting them young is great. It's so good for body awareness and to just and sort of get that mobility from a young age.
Lovely.
So that's really awesome. I would say, yeah, as soon as they're walking around, they can start copying what you're doing or take them to yoga classes.
So it's never too soon. Well, thank you so much, Kirsty, and thank you so much for being such a good sport. From a cowboy to a yogi, I love it. Now, your expertise has truly done so much for us. Thank you so much for demonstrating that. And the power of mindfulness, it is always within reach, even in the most simplest of movements. Now, on social media, guys, we want to find out from you. How do you practice mindfulness?
So I practice mindfulness in yoga, when I do yoga, through meditation. I also enjoy it, as you said, like going for a jog or for a walk in nature. You can be mindful in all of those moments. Just come back to your awareness and feel into that present moment.
And we've already discussed, I mean, thank you so much, Kirsty, but we've discussed as a group, as the Congo Cowboys, how you practice mindfulness before stepping on a stage. But yourself individually, how do you practice mindfulness?
Often is I get up early most of the times, and I find very peaceful that moment that, you know, I cannot get back to sleep, so I just do like some reassessment about what I'm gonna do
Through the day.
through the day. Yeah. So I find that space very precious. Else, it's when I'm jogging. Yeah, it allows me the space to think as well, yeah.
I love that. I mean, you did mention jogging and the exercise, but first thing in the morning is also absolutely critical. That alone time, that quiet time when everyone else is sleeping. So remember, we would love to hear from you on our social media, just to let us know, how do you practice mindfulness? By posting your comments on our social media pages, and please do remember to use the hashtag Afternoon Express in all of your comments. Let's continue, guys. Let's keep going. See you after these.
Express yourself.
Our pharmacies are on the front line of healthcare. This is Pharmacy of the Week.
During the peak of COVID, it was a high risk. The times were tough, but we realized that there's a need for a pharmacy in this community and braved it out, as Adcock will say, brave. We came into the community, opened the pharmacy with the idea that healthcare should be close to everybody. So there's a doctor that's right next to us. If people need more services than the pharmacy can provide, we just refer them to the doctor. It's all about patient care. So the pharmacy is here just to look after the people. People come in with their problems and we try to make them feel better before they leave. The patient approach is sometimes more important than the medication they take in. If we talk to the person with confidence that they're going to get better, they already start feeling better. We believe that if we work together and care together, we're all on the same page, and that's where we're going to give better health care.
Pharmacy of the Week, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram, OTC, sponsors of Brave. Inspiring communities, one pharmacy at a time.
We've been long in the game, healing South Africa one allergy at a time. All the sneezing, runny nose, itching of nose and throat, we've left no stone unturned. Until finally, South Africa recognized us. You've given us the courage to continue to do what we do best. Live, work, play, sleep allergy-free with Allergex Non-Drowsy. Ask your pharmacist for the full allergy range. Brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
Double cream plain yogurt from Clover. Just plain amazing.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now look, after that incredibly calming yoga session, I've worked up an appetite. So when we eat good, we feel good. And this next dish is about to make you feel super good. And the best part is Jay is about to show us that a healthy meal can still feel and taste indulgent. We are making a quinoa salad with creamy coriander and lime dressing that you are going to love. Now, love, quinoa, same sentence for me. Chris, do you love quinoa?
Simon, but I'll go with Chris.
Oh, Chris is the...
Yeah, Chris is the...
guy.
Where does quinoa come from? Like, originally, do you know?
So quinoa is actually, it's an ancient grain. It's one of those ancient grains, and it actually originated in South America.
Oh.
And it's a fantastic grain, pali. And what I love about it is that it's gluten-free. So this is great if you have a family with different eating preferences or dietary requirements. If you've got celiac disease, for instance, this is a great replacement for rice, potatoes, and so forth. So doesn't smell of anything.
Doesn't smell of anything.
Not much of a taste.
I'm
but,
with you so far.
But very nutritious. So what we're going to do is start with that garlic, and I love how we're caramelizing that garlic in
I was
there.
actually about to say the quinoa might not smell like anything, but the garlic that you're frying up is absolutely aromatic.
And then
now,
we're using baby spinach.
baby spinach just to wilt it down.
Just to wilt it down. Baby spinach is also great because you can eat it raw, which is also great. So if you're really thinking about being mindful about it, eating it raw would obviously be the best bet. So giving a great way of
Just
sauteing
fry it
that,
up a little bit
which I
and
love.
get all that additional flavor. Now,
I'm in
Chef-
my happy place.
Yeah. Are you much of a chef?
Yeah, I cook a lot. Cook at home.
Interesting.
And
Now, one thing about it is that quinoa might not be our ingredient of choice, but right now we are about to elevate it, make it tasty, and make it absolutely delicious and indulgent by using Clover's double cream yogurt. It is thick and filling, which gives the dressing that yummy flavor that we oh so need. But it also helps to keep us feeling fuller for a longer time. Plus, it's a great source of protein. I mean, this dish is such a great way to include a variety of green vegetables and seeds, which are essential just for that basic diet. Add an additional and extra dollop of that Clover double cream yogurt to serve for that extra creaminess and flavor. I am so obsessed with this double cream yogurt.
I love it. And actually, Polly, can I ask you to pass that along? Because we're going to make the dressing. So the dressing is the most important part of this meal, in my opinion, because it adds that flavor. And we're using the Clover double cream plain yogurt. Let me just get that open. So in a blender, we're going to do some fresh coriander. And then I'm just going to do about 1.5 scoops of Clover's double cream plain yogurt, which adds the creaminess that you need. It adds the nutrition that you need. And set that aside, right? And then we're going to go with some lime juice. Love a bit of freshness. I think lime juice just elevates any flavor in a dish.
And it adds that tanginess that we need.
Adds that tanginess. And then this is optional, Pali. So half a chili. So, you know, we're thinking about being mindful today. So if you feel like maybe you have a bit of, discomfort in your gut, then maybe omit the chili. So be really mindful about how you use the ingredients
and
today.
what you add and what you don't
and
add.
what you add and what you don't add.
Okay.
A bit of seasoning, which is important. Okay.
Salt and pepper.
Salt
well,
and
friend,
pepper.
you blitz that up. Bring it all together. Let us get back to the stove. Simon,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
seem very impressed with yourself right now.
I mean, I've got a very simple job to do here. You know, he's got the tough job. I'm very happy just stirring a pot and watching it come together. So
Well, so far, just to give a quick
I'll be
recap of what
pleased
you...
with myself if I can actually eat it because I'm starving.
Well, I'm so glad you came on an empty stomach because
Excellent.
this is exactly what you need to fill you up. All you have there is some quinoa with some baby spinach, and also you have mixed it all up with that beautifully indulgent garlic. And here, it's plating.
Yeah, so if we can just do a few scoops of...
Oh, we're going to plate now,
let's do
okay.
it. We can do it in front here. We can do a few scoops of that in there.
How does that look?
That looks
One more.
fantastic. Let's do more. We're talking about abundance here.
Oh, sorry,
And we've got a whole lot
yeah.
of freshness there. We've got some sugar snap peas. We've got some baby marrow.
Here's the peas, here's the baby
We've
marrow.
got some sunflower seeds, some pumpkin seeds. That's going to go over the top. And I'm actually, before you top it, Pali, I'm going to
Quickly, friend, I want to add the finishing garnish.
I'm going to put some of that sauce.
And just like that, our dish is
wow.
done and dusted. Simon, congrats. It seems as if you have done an incredible job. Ooh,
I'm a
just
magician
throwing everything on
in the
here.
kitchen.
You can have a taste because you're the one that came hungry, but don't burn your tongue. Okay, while Simon has a taste of that, you can get your hands on this very wholesome quinoa salad and creamy coriander and lime dressing recipe. Just visit afternoonexpress.co.za. How is it? Amazing.
Looks like frog's eggs, but it tastes like paradise.
That's all I needed to know. Does it taste like paradise or not? Well, thank you so much for joining us in the kitchen, but don't get too full because you still have to perform for us a little bit later. Mzansi, let us know what you think about this meal and let's keep the conversation going online.
Double cream plain yogurt from Clover. Just plain amazing.
It looks like we have a quinoa convert. I love it because I love quinoa. So today we learnt about de-stressing, about being more present and understanding the importance of being mindful. Now, put your hands together for the Congo Cowboys as they get to help us shake away our stress.
You can catch us live at Up the Creek on the 10th of February.
Congratulations, guys!
Wow,
What a heartfelt thank you. Just a heartfelt thank you to all of our wonderful guests. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and vibes with us today. Now remember, you can catch the repeats of the show on Sunday at 8:30 a.m. But for now, stay safe and see you next Tuesday. Band, take it away.
yes.
Double cream plain yogurt from Clover. Just plain amazing.
Another feel-good production.